Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Ware Board of Selectmen for September 18th work session. We started with a new hire interview at 6:30 and brings us to 7 o'clock. Pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we lose track of this, I'm going to move that we hire Stephen Plord for the position of seasonal or part-time, non-CDL truck driver at the Department of Public Works at the rate of $30 an hour. Is there a second?
Second.
Moving second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Come on up, you're next. Recognize Chief Moore for the fiscal year 24 highway grant and speed enforcement equipment.
Correct. So, looking for permission to sign, along with the chairman, the New Hampshire Department of Highway Safety grant application for FY24. The grant is a combined grant. Scope of work is $9,200 award. Speed equipment grant is $9,771 award for a total award of $18,971. We have a total matching requirement of $5,557. The scope of work match, $2,300, would be covered by administrative hourly fees and use of a vehicle. The PD's speed equipment match is $2,550, which would come, I'm comfortable would come from my budget. Okay,
That's the right answer, Chief.
thank you. I've been trained well. Thank you, Ms. Rouse. SAU 24 requested a movable speed sign, so their match is $756.50, which I will coordinate with Finance Director Rouse. And then we have the summary of how we do this, if approved by the board, or if anybody has any questions.
I think you've explained it pretty well in a month ago or so, whenever you brought it to us initially, for that proposal, so, personally, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's only gonna benefit us, honestly. Any other discussion?
So I reviewed it today. I did ask that question of you last time you presented, early in the month. So I have no questions. I do believe this will help support what you need to do, so, nope, I'm good, Rick.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. All right, then, I will move to accept the,
Department of Highway Safety.
okay, I was like, what's the O? Department of Highway Safety, Ware PD Highway Safety Grant Agreement number 24-193 for the total of $18,971. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Entertain a motion for myself and Chief Moore to sign the grant application.
Second.
Well, I'm gonna entertain a motion.
I'll make a
Oh,
motion
yeah.
that we authorize the chairman of the Board of Selectmen and the chief of police to both sign this.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Abstain?
Okay.
One grant.
Coming right up.
And that's approval for me to sign everywhere else. You sign here, name and title, and that's the only place I need you to sign. I do it all the rest. And then you sign and print.
What did we miss? No, I know. I don't know.
He has one more. Okay.
Oh, boy.
No, we
Well-
thought, we thought Jason might stay too.
Oh.
Crosswalk.
Yeah, go ahead. Fine.
So we monitor Facebook. We are aware, have had a lot of citizen complaints regarding school opening, closing times with the traffic. The town administrator's been working with the director of public works to get the sidewalk painted. There's a small pedestrian crossing going over to Zoomies. The states wasn't taking the initiative, so the TA arranged for us to take that initiative. However, the complaint that popped up recently was more for vehicle traffic. I have contacted the superintendent of the schools to try to figure out solutions to this. Lot of input, two sides. It stems from, there's been an increase with parents dropping off their kids rather than utilizing the buses. But when they come back out, and this is specifically at the middle school, when they come back out of the middle school on East Road to 114, that's where it creates a pretty good backup. We looked at a bunch of corrective solutions, because it's going to be a long-term issue. Obviously, people aren't all of a sudden going to start using the bus. Four-way stoplight with a vehicular detection system, that's big money, so obviously I wouldn't recommend that. Redesign of access egress, the principal, he's been implementing some corrective action on school property, but it's not going to address anything at the actual intersection. If we had an SRO, of course, the SRO would be able to address that. Not that I'm recommending an SRO, that's just up for the town discussion. The police detail was brought up. It would be very cost prohibitive. I wouldn't recommend that at all. But I've suggested to the school a possible staggered of pickup times. 7th and 8th graders are usually on the sports team, so they need to maintain their schedule because that's been coordinated with other schools and possibly adjusted just slightly. Pickup times of 4th, 5th, and 6th graders by 5 minutes. So we're ongoing with that discussion. I just want to make the board aware, because obviously there's a town budget and there's a school budget. The school, since this is a school problem, they have a budget to deal with that problem. The town pays for the police department to not favor any one entity. If the school was a private business, they'd be required to get a detail, or take some other corrective action. If they were building that, they'd have to put in the stoplight. You know, obviously that would be a tax impact, and we don't want taxes to come up, so we're gonna work with the school system to find a low-cost solution to help resolve the issue. Yes, sir.
So, Chief, in Henniker, they have the exact same situation, much more traffic, obviously, right, because of the downtown. But they have a crossing guard who monitors the intersection at between 7 and 9 a.m. And then again later in the afternoon, I don't know exactly when. So, but that's been going on for years and years and years and years. So is this situation elevated to that where we would have a
So-
retiree stand out there in the morning and,
So there were I did see some discussion of that. Crossing guard is for pedestrians, and the pedestrians aren't the problem, it's the vehicle traffic. So it takes someone actually certified by the state to direct traffic out there, and they're not authorized to do that. They can stop traffic for pedestrians, but they can't go out there and do a four-way intersection. That'd have to be us.
right, yeah, because they do stop us
If they had a pedestrian,
waiting to cross.
right, waiting to cross, they could stop it, but not as far as, getting everybody through the intersection.
And
Would it
the
help?
problem is traffic coming out around and going down 114, correct? The cars.
Well, they're going in the middle school and they're coming back out. When they come back out, everybody wants to go, across left or right on 114. So that stop sign, obviously they have to wait for oncoming traffic. So that stop sign is backing up pretty good, where that's the
They
complaint.
actually did, when they built the middle school, that was just one lane in, one way out with a brick flower planter in the middle. And they actually made that a 2-lane exit when they built the school, so.
Yeah, I'm
Trying
It's
to
way better
assist.
than it used to be.
probably when we look at the next long-term, town strategic plan, we'll have to look at what we might do, but, something that'll get us through the next couple of
Because
years.
that is 2 lanes exited in there.
Right, yes,
Always was just one, so.
Yeah, it is.
No
right now,
roundabout.
right, left.
yeah.
Right, left.
And,
Roundabout.
there, yeah.
No.
Well, people that live in North Ware, why can't they go back out and go down
They could,
Buzzell
Yeah,
Hill or
you
one of
can't tell them
them.
what they have to do.
they
No, but
could,
you can
but
suggest it.
in my experience, the GPS doesn't tell them to go that way.
Oh, yeah.
So,
The other thing, you have another outlet there, that,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if you can use it with the school, but the road that comes down right next to the building, if you got them out of the, way from that real intersection, and they went down there and went out, if they were heading south, it might help you a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, we're just initially, this just popped up, so we're just, I want to make you guys aware that this was a
Facilitating
community.
ideas,
Right,
yeah.
a big community conversation,
Yeah.
and just kind of get everybody on the same page, where we're going to be working with the school to come up with, and we're looking at egress and, in routes and out routes, essentially, so, yeah.
And there's also an issue, and I have, there was an issue, I saw an email from you or from someone regarding the crosswalk also, correct?
So
Are
that's
these two
what-
combined?
No, not really.
not really,
Okay.
He's been involved just to keep him in the loop of the crosswalk.
right?
But Jason and I have been working on it, because you all got the letter from the state stating that we'll have to do something when it comes time, when they rebuild 114, but nobody can tell us when that is. So in the meantime, I also included and looped around the SAU, the superintendent and the business manager. And what we've come up with for a solution, I talked to Tom Weston, who is the facilities gentleman today. And Jason has bought the paint, and we are going to paint it. We just need a dry day. And then the school is, remember those green ones? I think Benji had them, those green
Yeah.
signs with the base.
Yep.
We ordered two with two bases. The school's splitting that with us. That was $950, so $475 is theirs, $475 is ours. But what they've offered to do is add the crosswalk to their list for every July. That would be, I want to say touched up, and maybe not the word, but they would make sure it gets freshened up at the July when they do their freshen up painting. So
Okay.
the school's gonna take on painting after we do. So I just want everyone to
So
understand.
the signs you're talking, are they the ones that go in the middle of the road?
Yes,
Who puts them up and down?
we're gonna put them out there and leave it out there. We have the signs pointing down, you saw them either way.
Right, the problem I ran, I got one of them for East Road, and then no one could decide who's responsible during plow season to pick them up and down.
Well, I guess we haven't talked about plow season yet, but right now the kids are going across to get a snack and going back across for school
Right.
activities.
Most of your school season's during plow season, you're gonna run into that problem.
Well, we'll address
Yeah,
that,
we'll
but
address
the
it.
school's on board with helping.
Say you
us
might
share-
buy
Yes.
$900 of the signs, nobody's gonna pick them up, that's a problem.
Well, I
They're gonna
think,
get plowed over.
no,
This happened on East Road where there's no traffic, we're talking about 114.
I understand that.
Yeah, I think we
I
could work
just-
together, 'cause
Yeah,
we're
I
making
think
a
the,
joint
the
effort
school
now.
can, yeah, probably the school
Maybe
can,
the
we
night
can work
before, if
together.
it's gonna snow that the night
Yeah.
before, they picked up
I'm just
before.
trying to say, it didn't happen before, it's not gonna happen.
Well, what are you
Well,
doing after school?
When,
No, that's,
when was this?
huh?
When was this?
A couple of years ago, when they insisted on having a crosswalk from the school to the library.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just
I
thinking maybe it
remember
was
that.
changing the guards over there, that's all. So. might be
All I
different.
wanted to
They
just share
wanted
with
highway
everybody,
department to
and the
pick it
chief
up.
and I talked
They're
today
gonna
as
get run
well,
over. Yeah.
was that
on
it's
the
gonna be a
114
shared thing,
regardless.
they have concern, they have part of the
Yeah.
game, they've got the kids that coming across. So we're sharing the cost toward the signs, Jason's gonna do the painting, and then they're gonna take over painting every July after that to keep it good.
Maintained,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, to Benji's point, I would say that the school should take some responsibility for,
We can talk to Tom and
yeah,
Jason
I
can
think
work
Tom
that
would be
out.
fine with
Yeah, I'm
that.
not sure Tom was there at the time, and I'm not,
Yeah,
it wasn't a specific name, that was just one of the issues.
I understand that, but I'm
He's got
saying
the
is, yeah,
Facility operations of all of them.
his faces change and, you
And
know.
the
that-
other
that could be-
problem, maybe you guys are
Do it
further
now.
along in it, in the information than I know, but that crosswalk got taken away because the state wouldn't claim responsibility for any accidents that happened. There used to be a blinky light there and everything, it all had to come out.
Now they want to light back, if you look at the letter, they
Right.
want to light back. So the school's agreed to work with us in 2025 to put some sort of lighting there.
Okay.
Because 2024 is too short and their budget goes to 2024 anyway.
Cause I agree that it,
Talk about
I agree that it should have something, and it always should have, but the state made us take that away. It's just a liability telling kids they can cross there on such a busy road.
Yeah.
So I don't wanna get into all this if we can't do it.
Hence my idea about the flag person.
But,
And, you know, maybe,
That would work.
because We could it's get a a crossing guard safety for the issue. crosswalk.
Oh, definitely.
maybe you
That's
could
pedestrian.
have a meeting with the school kids, something in the cafeteria or over there in the gym, because it was last Friday, I was coming home from Concord, and I was only doing 25, and I had 3 or 4 kids, they never looked, they just walked right out in front of me. I mean, I was pretty close to them when I, you know,
Sure, and obviously we get speeders around there all the time.
yeah, it's not good. I mean, the kids aren't paying attention, they're jibber jabbering with each other, and they just walked right out in front of me.
I don't know whose responsibility it'll be, but I believe on the southbound side, there's no end of school zone sign.
I'll check on that.
I don't know if there is on the other end, is there?
There is on the other, I think it's just it's right at the town hall.
School zone,
End
done,
of school
yeah.
zone, right, end of the 20-mile-an-hour school zone, or whatever, 20, 25, whatever it is. So,
And is
Back
that,
to the backed up problem for the first issue you brought up, were the lines painted over there for the 2 exit lanes? They faded, always had to do them once a
yeah, they're
year.
pretty faded.
Cause one's turning and one's straight and right and the other's left or whatever they are. Maybe it's different, but if they're not painted, it's confusing and some people they need to be in the right lane or in the left. So Jason could paint them
while he's down there, maybe
while he's
painting
down
them,
there.
yeah.
We had to do them every year. There's quite a bit of painting, cause you got the stop bar and then you got the
The
turn
two
lane and then the
arrows.
other
and-
lane and then you have the double yellow up the middle.
Right, right, it's quite a bit of stuff going on
Yeah,
there.
it took 10, 15 gallons.
I'll get up with them tomorrow.
Awesome. All right, anything else?
That's a good point. It's not marked well. I just was dealing with
Yeah.
that the other day.
maybe make sure that blinking light's actually at 20 miles an hour during school time, because it's not always going.
We put in a lot of calls to the state to just try to get the time adjusted.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah,
it's not on when you come up
they
through.
don't listen. They do what they want to do.
That's nice
I
of
mean,
them.
at least maybe slow the
Although,
traffic down.
I have met the guy who's just took it over, he's in Henniker, he might be a little more respected. Maybe we can get him directly rather than going through the state number.
Yeah, yeah, go directly to him.
Yeah,
Directly
we'll
to
try
him.
that,
Okay, yeah, see what that brings.
yeah.
Okay,
Because that's been an ongoing battle for a while.
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
thank you.
Andy's here.
Yep. Andy,
on
come
in,
on
Andy.
in. Next up, reappointment to Conservation Commission, Andy Fulton. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Good evening all.
So can I preface something?
Of course.
Andy and I had a conversation today. I reached out to Andy last week. I think we're all aware there was some confusion that led to asking Andy to step down in his role at Conservation until we squared away his reappointment. When that decision was made, it wasn't clear that it was our assumption that he hadn't been appointed in March, which would have been traditional. Subsequent to that, we found out that no, Andy was appointed, but it was in October 5th of 2020, from memory. There was a comment innuendo that the board was somehow trying to be disruptive to conservation, and it wasn't the case. So Andy and I think, had a very constructive conversation in regards to what the board position was as of September 11th, when we were trying to, at that point, get you reappointed, because we didn't think you were appointed, okay? So that's what's led us here today, is to, even though the anniversary date is October 5th, we would like to, at least I personally would like to get Andy back into the March cycle, which is stated in the bylaws and in RSA 36-A, that because we have 29 appointees.
In
and-
March.
In March, effectively, if everybody's term came up. So I would like to make a motion tonight that we reappoint Andy after the letter that was delivered per the town administrator, which I think at some point will openly apologize that happened. Reappoint you, if you agree with this, effective March of 2023, to get you back into the cycle for for another 3-year term. that's sort of a summary of where I am, at least, as we enter into this discussion with Andy.
Yeah. Would you entertain that idea?
That's perfectly fine with me. It's your prerogative. I
We- I mean,
have no, I have
yeah.
no qualms with that.
Again, and to Kevin's point, at no point was it the intent of this board to cause a disruption as was had at the Conservation Commission. That was not the intent at all. And again, I for one, seeing all the events unfold, I apologize to you. Again, I appreciate your service to the town.
Accepted, thank you.
Yes, so,
Enough said.
I would second your motion. If that-
Where do you stand, Sal?
I was so fired up when that email went out, and still am. I can't believe we would do that to him. I thought the whole way it has unfolded has been embarrassing. I don't know of a better word. I think it reflects very poorly on this board. My first main question is, why did the email go out at all?
I don't know.
It was never discussed. We
Not-
didn't
not-
discuss that at all.
Not to that extent, you're correct. So, again, I believe that Kevin has prefaced where we were at the time, at September 11th, where we were at. We just wanted to get everybody back in
And
check.
I watched last Monday live, and I did not get the impression that we were altering anything. But then the email
Not
went
that
out
moment.
Tuesday.
Not at that moment, so, yeah, not at that
Yeah,
moment.
I mean, we can discuss the issue with why or how the town administrator interpreted, who wasn't at our meeting on Monday, okay? Interpreted that Andy was to be removed opposed to just reappointed, okay? Again, as of September 11th, we have been openly addressing this unknown about the status of Andy Fulton's reappointment, because it did not happen in March. Everything that was presented to us was that it should have happened in March. It's listed on their website, that reinstatement in 2023. It wasn't until that day that all of a sudden everything unfolded, that there's this October 5th reinstatement.
Right.
That disregards the email that I sent, laying out all the RSAs that said, hold on a minute, I think he's totally in the clear and should sit Tuesday. And that just got totally ignored.
Well, as I've explained to you, and that evening, I was on the road all day. I arrived back that evening. I reached out to Ricky. I actually took the time to watch the meeting, which I discussed with Andy today, in regards to how that unfolded. I think the town administrator is clearly is ready and willing to state that it was a mistake. And I personally am wondering how we went from July 12th, because that was the day that it was brought to my attention. I discussed it the following day. I attended a meeting. I discussed it the following day with Sherry, a member of my board and the commission. Is this in fact the case? The following day, I received a phone call from the vice chair. I discussed it with the vice chair. What is up? Is he appointed or not appointed? And then 8 weeks went by with no response from anyone. And I have had zero communication. So with the other things that are going on, the objective was to get this within the framework. And Andy and I had a lengthy conversation about this, and someone can't tell me today how we went from the anniversary of March appointments out to October 5th
That's
either.
absurd too.
I don't understand that.
Somebody made a huge mistake.
There's a terrible breakdown in communication, and
So,
there's, Sam, let me finish. I don't understand how, within 24 hours of us saying we're going to bring Andy in, all of a sudden, this magical October 5th email, or whatever it was, this email that went out in May then appeared as, that cleared everything up to me. But at that point, at 6:30 PM on Wednesday evening, it was too late for me to pull an e-brake.
Yeah, and we couldn't have held an emergency meeting to override anything, not at that point. I'm not saying, I read your email, I did read it. again, but again, without emailing back and forth.
And there should have been nothing to override because the board did not make a decision.
Right. Okay.
The only thing we would have been overriding is what had already been put out there via the email,
Right.
and that,
And I thought the whole thing, to throw him under the bus in front of this board, the entire commission, I just thought it was so completely wrong to do that. And then, because I watched it, you came up, your wife came up,
Yeah, I watched it
it
too.
was killing me. So, yeah, I'm glad that y'all apologize as well, that the board, it sounds like,
The
I
board's
don't know
in
who made this
consensus.
decision either, because we haven't talked about it. Apparently, the board's gonna make an apology too. I apologize as a member of this board. It's absurd.
Do I, Andy?
Thank you, Salem, thank you, Sherry. Accepted, prepared to move on.
Well, and I'll speak, I mean, all right, I took it out of context, I wasn't here. I'll own up to that at the same time. Andy and I worked together for a long time.
Yeah.
We still work together. And I appreciate everything he's done for the 21 years.
21.
I'm one person, I'm human,
Yeah.
I'm entitled to a mistake.
Yeah.
I
We hear that a lot, though.
misunderstood, and I totally apologize
hear that a lot.
to you and your wife, Wendy.
Fully accepted, thank you.
Excuse me?
So we hear that a lot.
Yeah,
That
but
what, I'm one person?
that she's one person, and we, as a board, load her up terribly with all this stuff. We have her doing minutes from other not conservation.
I'm not doing minutes.
No, I understand that, but we have her attend these meetings. She's here 5 days a week. I guess I understand the frustration. I get it. But as short-staffed as we are, the town administrator is trying to take on a considerable role. So, yes, mistakes are bound to happen. They happen in my line of work. I'm not perfect. So I understand the frustration. I get it. But again, we need to come up with a solution as 5 rather than point fingers. This is our board.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna request that
So-
whatever you want me to do, you put it in writing.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
can't.
And that's fine.
I don't think we make enough
can't
motions.
honestly-
Okay, and that's fine.
But at the same
That's fine.
time, what was quoted for RSAs has nothing to do with conservation, and that's where I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah, and that's fine. Yeah, because they're governed by 36A.
36, I got it.
Yeah, so,
okay, so we do really need to, this is all part of a piece. And Andy, you did take it on the chin on this piece of this puzzle that we're trying to put together that spun out of the July 12th meeting, okay? It was just a piece, and so I think in our conversation today, we made it clear what the intent is just to clear this up, okay? So that if somebody comes and says, what's really going on, we can officially say, nope, we're back in the cycle, he's on a 3-year term, you're gonna go back now, officially reappointed, and then there's that process of the commission reestablishing you as chair. Is that understood? That's my understanding. I'm not stating this as fact, but that
To me,
is,
that's a little bit hard to understand, because if I had an interruption in service, if I was in fact not a member of the commission at the time that the commission chose to nominate me, inclusive of the slate of officers for the commission,
when,
then it seems like, sure, that would make sense,
Mm-hmm.
we need to reestablish, but if it's in fact the case that I was duly sworn in, that my prior appointment
October.
had covered that time period, I'm not sure that we need to go through the,
well, then what's
the-
gonna end up
the-
happening is not October 5th. So let me just read the annual meeting,
no,
which
no,
is,
I'm not talking, I'm only talking about the element of being recognized by the commission as chair. I'm not understanding why the commission would then
so let
need
me.
to, if we're
Yeah.
able to backfill.
Yeah,
Jump back.
can I just read, so, at the annual organizational meeting shall be held at the first regular meeting or work session following the close of town meeting, but no later than 30 days following the close of town meeting. This is your bylaws. The purpose of the annual meeting will be to elect officers and to review bylaws. So whatever that appointment date is, and we're kind of rewinding back to March, that is when your fellow, just like we do here at our board, we establish, even though Ricky the year before was chair, we can make anybody chair. And so we put it before, we have a discussion, we nominate, we vote, make a motion, we vote, Ricky abstains. This year we did Ben. Ben was a new member, not an existing or sitting member, and he was voted to vice chair. So as I read the bylaws, that we have to kind of repeat that step just to stay, I'm sure, I don't know how you did it in October, when you did the October. I don't know when that annual meeting was held.
Our commission annual meeting is always the first meeting after town meeting.
And
It's written up there as no later than 30 days
And
after.
did you guys do the officer elections then?
I can't
Yes,
find
we
it, I can't find it in the minutes. I find it in the, it's in the agenda, but then that next meeting was canceled because it wasn't posted. And then I can't find it after that. It's in your March 8th minutes. You set an agenda for the following meeting, and that is noted. But I can't,
I believe it might have been mentioned as a reminder at the end of that meeting.
yes, exactly,
So-
you're exactly right.
So
There's a whole list of them.
A gap there. This is a different scenario than I initially understood you to be saying. I believe that the commission actually did that. Let me see if I can find the records of it.
Yeah, and as long as it's
And
been
if we
done,
didn't, we can't find records of it, I understand
Yeah.
the
just a formality.
request or the suggestion or boy, it really would be good if you would, you know,
Yeah.
if you can't document it, make sure it's,
Reaffirm it.
Exactly.
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 It's all-
that makes good sense.
It's
Yeah.
all it is.
I'm
And-
sorry, and we have been, you know, like others, kind of behind the eight ball on those records, and it's not good. And it's,
Yeah, and,
it is, lesson learned, again, something that we do count on. And it,
So how much of your tenure has been synced in October? When did that start?
Just this
This
last
last
one, right?
one, but I don't know why that happened. Why it
I'm
went to
not sure,
October,
Salem, I understand the
Naomi, because
question.
that's what you wrote. It was October.
How did you end up having your date be in October?
Yeah, I
That's,
know.
that's the question
Yeah,
at
were
hand.
That's a
Were you
question.
always appointed in March up until this last one?
Yeah.
not from the get-go, and somebody mentioned 21 years, in the back of my mind, just think it's something over 20 years now.
7 reappointments.
Yeah.
They start to blend together
and
after a
again,
while.
again, that's 3 years past, right? So it's
Initially,
Well, is it
we
3
had,
years?
we had staggered
2020, right?
This says
going.
2022.
3 years
Right.
later, you'd need to be reappointed. And then some years ago,
It's 3 years.
a prior board decided, you know what, this is hard for us to keep track of, so let's bring everybody in to March.
Right,
We send out, received, others received,
yeah, they
at
would,
appropriate
sign back up.
years, hey, you know, here's a reminder, you need to re-up.
That's a stagger.
And so we did that. I'm not sure when that started, it's somewhere there in the records.
So are you saying that everybody is on the same year now?
No, it should be staggered.
Honestly,
It's staggered.
honestly,
Well, that's what I know it
Salem,
should be,
I don't
but-
know.
Yeah.
No, there's,
I could find out.
there's
but
4
In the
members,
back of my head, I just don't have that
Yeah,
information to
there's 4
remember, oh,
members.
Steve's next year and,
yeah, there's
you know,
4
whatever,
members.
you know,
Let's
raise
Let's
some
let
other
Andy
year.
talk, yeah.
Yeah,
4
sorry.
members for 24.
There's 4 members in 2024 coming,
Ideally, we should.
according
we
to your
should-
website.
We should find a way to,
I mean, not just
Stagger that
ideally,
even
but
better.
legally. It's supposed to be a third, a third, a third.
Well, what we could do is we could probably, to kind of what we're doing tonight is that short-term
Yeah.
predate type thing, and that will get that stagger back up.
Technically, I'd put 4.
Yeah,
If there's 3 now, put him on March, it'd be 4.
yeah.
right?
No, he's gonna be 3 years.
Years.
He'll still be in the skip year, because it's March of 2023 to 2026. The 4 that are coming in March of 24 will be March of
27.
27.
Okay.
But those,
If you've
I'm
got 4
asking
people-
administratively,
How do we
you
do
guys
that?
through your administrator to tell me who needs to be
Yeah.
re-upped when.
Okay.
And if you feel otherwise, that I need to determine this, then I can go play with that and say, all right, this is what I think the lineup ought to be.
Right.
But I don't need to be the team manager on
Let me
this.
understand, for now, we want to get him from this date, or October 5th, to March, right?
We're backing up to March of 2023.
Okay.
And then that puts us in line with this, and then puts you back into the cycle.
Technically, next
rotation.
March, he'll have 1 year served on his term.
Exactly.
Correct.
But can I ask a
So,
question?
so word
It's a
it,
typo.
word it for the record, you know.
You heard that, you
I-
heard that the other night.
Okay.
You heard that at the
We,
conservation.
we have the challenge of the language that says 3 years, you know, versus 2.5 years, but,
Right.
you know, work with the language to come up with the thing that
Yeah.
gets it onto the cycle, and tell me I need to re-up. I don't think I've given you much grief about,
No,
no.
but you ignored the email from the 20th of March.
Well, that's, yeah.
It's probably in the junk mail. It's
So-
okay, it's over.
missed
Yeah,
it. I
yeah,
don't know.
exactly. It
I-
is what, it happens. We
Yeah,
get it.
yeah, so I just want to go back to Salem's point because it's a really important point, at least as far as how I'm trying to view things. In the March of 2024, when we do the reappointments, when these 4 people, if they are going to remain or wish to remain on the commission, we may, as a board, say that we are going to up somebody for 3 years and somebody else for 2 years, just to bring the stagger
Get
back
stagger
into
back.
rotation. Do you know, did we, and just make you understand
As long
it?
as that passes muster and is legit, that's.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, and then we would get you into a proper stagger.
That's an admirable,
Yeah,
That's the place
as,
we need
as
to
a
be,
commission
yeah.
to get in that stagger, and again, you're not the only committee, commission, board that's gonna fall into this, what we gotta do, to get everybody in the stagger again.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
I
I just
don't,
wanna make
I don't
that,
live up here, I'm, I'm really down here, so.
yeah, so I don't want to, you know, I think it's pretty clear this is all part of a bigger picture that's going on that we all know about, and we're trying to get it in line. I make a motion,
you already did,
I
it's
already
been
did.
seconded.
Okay,
We're in
cool.
discussion right now.
cool,
So there's a motion on the floor to reappoint Andy Fulton to the Conservation Commission effective
Can I-
March
March,
of 2023
yes,
for a 3-year term to expire March of 2026. Is that correct?
correct.
And it's been seconded.
The only thing that scares me is just the way that I read the RSA, if he is currently in appointment, whether it goes for another couple of weeks or not, whatever, however we ended up in the state, if he is active, I don't know that we can just change it up around. I know that you're totally on board with making it right.
So when do we make it right? When it expires?
Well, that's what I'm kind of wondering, is like, do we just wait a couple of weeks and say, oh, he's expired?
And
we're
then
putting
make it
him into-
retroactive?
Say again?
And then make it retroactive.
And then say, we are, appointing Andy Fulton to fill the remainder of the term, because it's people in terms, and right now he's in the term, and he shouldn't, but it looks like he will end it in October, and then we'll say, okay, and actually, he's gonna go right back in and fill out the rest of that term.
But the rest of that term would only take them to March.
2.5 years, whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
that,
or we
so
could do
instead of
6 months,
backdating it,
but-
just take it from that day. So how about this? How about we?
but we're only gonna take them till the March date, right? Not back to the.
Of 26.
Of 26, yeah.
So what-
we could
what-
do motion day effective.
Effective on October
Yeah,
5th, and he
yeah,
gets
yeah,
reappointed
yeah.
to
That makes me more
March of
comfortable.
26.
Sure, either, any way we get it there, I'm absolutely perfectly fine with it.
All right.
Again,
So we're going from that October 5th date to March of 2026.
it's fine with me.
That's fine?
Yeah,
All right, moved and seconded.
there's your
Wait a
paper.
minute. Did you get rid of the first motion?
Yes,
It's
sorry.
rescinded. Sorry. Yes, it's hard to keep track. So, yeah,
Well,
so
it's the
Kevin,
minutes
you're
that
you're gonna rescind that motion?
Yes, so I officially rescind the motion of effectively making the date of March 30th of 2023, Andy Fulton's effective date to be reappointed to the Conservation Commission.
Okay, and I'll retract my second, rescind my second.
Okay?
And then I'll move that we reappoint Andy Fulton to the Conservation Commission for a term to start October 6th, that's when it technically, 2023 to March of 2026.
Second.
And that is inclusive of March.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah,
In the weeks between now and October.
correct.
And,
Right. Because you technically haven't expired yet.
okay. But Andy, you still will need to just have the discussion
Clear
with the
up.
board regarding that other issue we talked about, okay? Without
To
making
clear
any
that up.
motions or,
Well, trust me, we've done this a few times. My memory can be wrong, but we are very cognizant of the requirements to hold our annual meeting.
Yeah. It could have just got,
Primary
Hopefully-
business of that annual meeting, again, our first meeting held following town meeting, and the primary business is to secure our officer slate.
okay, and that would be great if that's
So I'll,
under control, perfect.
I will look into that and be sure that if not duly recorded and we cannot prove that we
Okay, and,
press it at our next meeting.
yeah,
Who made the second?
Sherry second, we
Sherry
haven't said
second.
all ayes yet.
Yeah, we haven't voted though. So, all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Opposed?
no. And if the board is not, I'm just letting you know, Andy and I had our first one-on-one conversation today, and we did talk about a number of other things that are up in the air, and agreed to have a open dialogue to try to, as was stated in the last meeting, try to homogenize the two boards so there's better line of communication, because obviously this whole problem broke down because there was lack of communication. Does everybody agree with that? So that it's not, I'm not overstepping my bounds, entering into a conversation with the chair. I'll report any conversations we have back to this board.
Yep.
Okay? Thanks.
Never fails, right?
This would be as,
As member of the
Member.
conservation, yeah, member of conservation. Yeah, signature above the date.
for a term of, are we gonna say
It's gonna be,
2
but
approximately
Can we say
2.5 years?
term ending March
Well,
20?
They ask, it says a term of how many years? So,
Wow, 3 and what, how many months?
2 years. and-
2.25 years.
Just put a little squiggle in front, about 3.
yeah, November, December, January, February, a year and 5 months. It's gonna be a year and 5 months, Andy, by the time you have your meeting following your monthly meeting. It'll be in April. Or 2 years, 2 years and 5 months.
5 months.
Sorry.
And
That's yours.
Thanks, Andy.
glad to try to pitch in for the town.
And so y'all voted to get emails. How is that progressing?
The commission, very clearly, from what I heard, and what we've discussed prior, would like to have email addresses
The town.
in a town function only, for town use only.
Yep.
Similar to the one that I received within the past few months as chair. And we understand there's some expense with that. If there needs to be a mechanism for conservation to contribute or cover such an expense,
Yeah,
you know, that
I was
is,
watching that meeting
Yeah.
too. so
that
I
is
didn't notice
something that they spoke about and.
Yeah.
and
So,
And I thought the approach y'all took was reasonable.
I do have a comment question. So there was 2 email addresses created, is that correct? There's one for conservation chair, and then there was commission.
There's one that was created for conservation at warenh.gov, which,
That's a long-standing one,
but that, and they forward to their private emails.
Yep.
and we
They
don't,
discussed the other night that
So-
they want to change everybody to get a warenh.
Something that I learned, and maybe you can fill in with this too, is each Microsoft Office or whatever account can be linked to 5 devices. So like at my work, I have my laptop, my desktop, the mobile phone, and they're all the same address. So my thought was, potentially, and not trying to discredit the situation, but more of a, this is an unanticipated cost to the commission, is to link like all the members to that conservation. You know, you and Steve would be affiliated with Conservation Chair. And then the other members could be all linked to Conservation. And when they reply, they'd be replying from Conservation at where NH, and they'd just have to sign the bottom of it saying that it was them.
It's that reply which is the key, and that's the
Right.
first time I've heard of that concept.
Right, I just know you can put 5 devices on one email. So I don't know if that's
I
a
like
thought.
the thinking, it scares me, I mean, that's kind of my line of work, and it,
Right, and that's
it
why,
scares me a little bit.
that's why I turned right to you
Yeah.
and said, let me know. I
I
mean,
think it's
it's,
an interesting idea, but I think the cons outweigh the pros
okay,
of, like,
all right, that's fine.
device
I
security
just,
and
just a
whatnot.
thought, just, okay. So I guess,
So now we have to have them break up delete the one that they created to put everybody on as a link and make 5. Are you gonna keep the
Six.
one?
However, it
Sherry
makes,
doesn't
makes the
need
best
one because
sense.
Sherry
I
already
mean,
has
if
one.
we want,
yeah,
if you wanna make some of them position-based,
Yeah.
that's okay, but I don't know that it's necessary.
So mine will come through like, just like it does
just the way it
now.
always does, yeah. My only thought would be maybe it, instead of having, if we're gonna assign them like that, maybe we do a similar to ours, where it's like, you know,
Names.
S
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
boom, you know, FF alert.
That's the intent, is to take away the other.
Because, yeah,
There's
Personal
one and
emails
2.
go away.
but to Kevin's point, you know, the makeup of the board could change. You could be
Yeah, then
vice
you're
chair,
gonna delete one,
whatever.
change one.
Right, so that's what I'm saying, is to move accounts, it might be harder rather than just having
They're
individual
just
email.
individuals.
Right,
If we could wipe the slate clear and have individual emails, I think
that's
that
how I'm
would be
thinking
the,
might be the better idea.
probably, yeah.
And we had a transition time for us when we went from where.nh to where.nh, where they forwarded along, so maybe before we just shut them off, they could forward along. Just a thought.
Yeah, I would ask that when that does get set up, at least the ones that are easy to get to, you know, start forwarding those from personal accounts into the Where in H account, so that there's more accountability. It's, you know, it doesn't necessarily just start, oh, we created the email accounts this date. It's like, oh, well, I've also got the last 6 months, I can just go ahead and forward those.
I'd be there for a century.
There might be value in maintaining the conservation at where when somebody has an issue that they don't know, you know, who to address it to. The general one perhaps has some function,
That
but
could be set up as an alias. That could be set up as an alias, where if they do email that, it will branch out to all of them.
Yeah, but it has to be changed to branch out to the new addresses, not the
Correct.
old addresses, because the old goes to that person.
Right, no, I understand that, but what I'm saying is I think Andy wants to keep alive the conservation at wherenh.gov.
For correspondence,
And that-
general
that-
correspondence.
Right, and that,
that's a good one from the website, if folks
Yeah.
are pinging the
Yeah.
website and they just have a general question, or,
Yeah.
you know, they don't know the players, they don't have a specific individual they wanna speak to, but they wanna forward a conservation concern.
but that would be the alias bucket to go into. Yeah. So.
Really would like to see the other boards and commissions and whatnot get there too.
Yeah, I guess,
Park at the same time.
I guess my only comment to that would be and I'm not disagreeing with the principle, I think it's a great idea, 100%. It's just where would the bucket of money come
Yeah.
from? For
that's
each,
fair.
for
And
each
I
respective.
hate spending money, but this is the
It's
first thing I would
warranted.
spend money on.
It's warranted. No, it's warranted. I just don't know where it would come from, that's all.
Well, we're gonna be doing the new budget.
Fails, now what? That's my thought. I mean, if we're going back to default, then where are we gonna get the money from? You
So we
know,
can look at it, then we can at least budget it.
we're gonna budget it, don't get me wrong, but.
Yeah, Andy, we hear you loud and clear on this. And
Yeah,
this
you could
is-
do
And
that
this
too.
is this is all, again, this is the piece of that bigger puzzle that I was talking
Called
about
stepping up our
earlier.
game, professionalizing, and we're all down for that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Very good, okay.
The only other thing that there's been a right to know request to the Conservation Commission, and the members have asked in the meeting that we watched last Wednesday night for input from the board in addressing that. Is there any help that any individual one of them, your members might need? Just to let you know, we did hear that request. We're not ready to talk about that tonight. I don't think, at least I'm not.
I'm not, no.
But we
did
will
hear
be having a conversation with that in the very near future, because we do have a deadline to meet that requirement, okay? So I just want that to be on the record. All right. All right,
Anything else, Randy?
no, just thank you for coming in and
Appreciate
helping
it.
us get this squared away.
Very much so.
I appreciate each one of you, the ones I've barely worked with, looking forward to working more, and the ones I've worked with for a long time. So,
Very good.
I understand, like I mentioned to Kevin, not one of us is perfect.
No.
And each of us can, this part maybe I didn't mention, but each of us can cause a stink that's unnecessary. So my goal is to, in my imperfect condition, do the best I can for the town, not for me individually.
No.
And sometimes, the best we can do is just keep it calm.
Yeah. Back
Be
of pen and
level-headed,
pun.
be supportive of each other. If we can't all agree in the same position, that's all right. But we can be respectful to each other and supportive.
Exactly.
Very good.
Well said, Andy. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Andy.
We'll just do it this way. Why not?
That's right.
Thanks, Andy.
Appreciate it.
As always, appreciate it.
Thanks, Andy.
All right, we'll move on to awarding the bid for the town office generator.
Okay, that falls back under my, in last week's meeting, everybody should have had the review. We got our quotes in for the generator. Ricky had noted that the A Pro, K Pro, it's broken down in two quotes because we have the actual, they're twin brothers. One's the licensed electrician and one is the generator
Install it.
installer, dealer, business. I don't know. They have two separate businesses nonetheless. In their quote, they did not have a surge suppressor on the switchgear. It appeared anyway, the way the quote was written, the ATS surge protector. As it turns out, they do have it. It was included. It was just not noted in their bid specifically as it was in Ostremski's. So it leaves the difference between the two bidders of $177.20. It's actually, when you look at how their numbers broke down, it's the lines that makes me feel very confident in the two numbers. I am a low bidder guy, so because they have met all the criteria, they did come and do the field inspection. There's no reason it shouldn't be awarded to them. At the same time, we do need to, or I need to at least recognize Ostremski because Ostremski was, he did play a role in helping me understand exactly what we needed. I have talked to Tom multiple times and let him know that the direction we would take it was low bidder, so he's not going to be surprised.
The one thing I do like, again, apples to apples, like I said, I think they're pretty within line. There's two things about the K Pro. One, it's a larger one, it's a 22K, not a 20. And I think Ben can support me on this one. It's got an oil heater kit and a CCV2 breather kit heater, so when it gets cold out, those will turn on. Yes, they may be on, they may require a little bit of, for energy from us, but to cold start a motor like that in the 11th hour, you want it to start, and that's only gonna aid things.
It's usually time of year power goes out.
Right, so you're really gonna wanna aid it, so I think that having those two heater units on there, I think is gonna be, is just gonna help things down the road, so. Kevin, I do have a question, and it's not in either of them. Do you know in your conversation anything about any, service contracts and or warranty
Well, it comes with the 5-year warranty
on the generator unit, correct?
on the generator unit, correct?
Okay,
Both of them.
Right.
If we had finished this by August 30th, we would have gotten the 10-year warranty,
oh,
but I missed that, so.
right, yeah, 5-year. I just want to make sure that we're,
Yeah, I have not discussed service agreements. I'm sure something will get pitched to that at some point, at the end of this project.
I'm just thinking that, you know, obviously we have an investment we're making, you know, so make sure it gets maintained. Whether it's the gentleman that does the fire department, small engines, or what have you, we just can't let it sit out there and not get touched after it gets put in,
Yeah.
that's all, so.
I will make a note and I will see if they will make,
I think that, I mean, it's
Yep.
obviously a subsequent, but I just don't want to lose sight of that, that's all.
And unless I'm just missing it, there's 5-year on the Yastrzemski one, but we're looking at A-Pro, K-Pro, which. I don't
yeah,
think about.
it's, I can go ahead and get you it in writing.
No, if you say it's there, it's there. Like, if it's in the paperwork, that is gonna get,
Yeah.
that's fine.
It's a Generac,
Yeah.
you know, generic 5-year warranty, parts and pieces.
And it's well within the number we were, earmarked from last year's. And
So one has a 200 amp transfer switch and one has a
No.
100 amp. No.
They both have 200 amp.
it does say 100 amp on the
No,
K-Pro.
it was corrected
but-
though.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, because that was,
That was a clarification.
because I asked about the surge protector function
And it's for
last
the
week.
same cost, 855.
Yeah, it's for the same cost. He upgraded to the 200 amp. The reason the 100 amp was in there is because what we currently are requesting this thing to supply, this is, you have to go down and do a deep dive into a little electric room downstairs. It's only 100 amp. In the conversation with Yastrzemski, there's at a 20, we have ability to add additional circuits.
Oh,
That's why
absolutely.
in these proposals, we asked for 3, a minimum of 3 to get started. And that is 1 spare and 2 for the food kitchen to do the refrigeration, okay?
Right.
But there'll be room in a 200 amp. There'll be room with the 200 amps
To move more circuits over if we,
Exactly.
if we deem.
Exactly. So it was an inexpensive way for us to have some room to, I guess, pick a circuit upstairs. I've already asked inside the building, is there an emergency circuit, lights in the hallway, in the stairwell out front, which we currently don't have on this.
What about all the computers?
This will never
Right
cover them.
downstairs.
Never cover them.
Huh?
It'll never
It
cover them.
won't cover the whole office with
It won't cover the whole building, it's not a complete
And how many? What is it?
20,
20.
yeah. I mean, it'll cover a substantial amount, but not the whole thing.
What's, like, how long are they talking about? How far are the wires gonna have to run? And when I'm looking at like the conduit and copper prices,
Nothing. I mean, it's.
yeah, that's what I was kinda wondering.
It's sitting here, it's sitting right behind you, the generator,
Yeah.
It won't-
and the electric room is sitting at that seat right
Yeah,
there.
out in the middle of the floor
Yeah,
there,
not that
kind
far.
of. It's not very far.
It's not that far.
What don't you like?
It's, I mean, these numbers are not huge, but I would, if it were, I don't know, I'd quibble a little bit on like 440, well, at least 12 gauge. I don't know, 2 conductors though. It seems a little high, but only a little. And so
Well,
maybe
there-
they may just be rounding up, trying to be careful, and that's understandable.
But, and you do have to, I'd have to take you downstairs to show you what they have to do downstairs in the electric room.
Yeah, they gotta do some
But,
moving around.
you know, when it's like 12 gauge wire, 120 gets you at least, I mean, it's like 100 foot,
Yeah,
so.
Just
I mean,
what-
that's why I was asking how far it is.
I just-
But,
yeah.
you know, you always gotta make sure,
I'm sure it's a roll,
yeah,
that you're getting
Yeah.
the roll charge.
yeah, that's
I'm sure.
where I was hemming and hawing.
I could ask them to leave the extra what's on the roll,
I would do
because
that.
I guarantee you that's exactly what it is.
It's part
It's
of
either
roll
a
price.
100-foot roll or a 500-foot roll, right?
It should be 100 foot.
Probably.
Yeah, so he's charged us for the roll.
I like the battery on the other one. It's not enough to make me vote against this one, but
Oh,
I got a group. Got the battery on the other one. No, that's fine.
oh, Group 51 versus 36, or 26.
Anyway.
excuse me. All right. I'm confident. I think this will be fine.
Okay.
But we still have more costs though.
There will be more costs associated because neither of these hook the gas up. They're not gas fitters, so.
Can you just refresh my memory? I know this, I know that, I'm not saying we had to use it, but the one that the town has wasn't big enough to run the whole building.
It was,
No, it doesn't, it's, first of all, it doesn't meet code at all. Its proximity exhaust pipe to this window doesn't meet code. And it doesn't have a surge protector on it at all, so
Or
if,
inverter.
if we turn that thing on, it's gonna fry every board in every one of these things.
yeah,
Okay.
just because the technology's too old.
Alright,
Yeah, she's history. She'd be good in a barn,
alright.
running a generator, running a welder,
Yep.
an old welder.
Okay,
So that doesn't have chips in it.
I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, I'm burned out on this topic, to be quite honest with you. This was one I inherited that be happy to pass on.
And I do appreciate that, because again, I handed it off to Kevin. It was something I had taken, but I knew the time was closing, and I want to make sure we got it done, so I appreciate that, Kevin, thank you.
Yeah. But I'll let somebody else make the
I
motion.
guess it's in, I just want to clarify, because I think we've talked about it, that it has an inverter. Because that's the, we'll handle computers and whatnot, it won't fry.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
As long as we got that, okay.
Yeah, and that was asked to make sure, because again, we need to make sure what we had was the right one. So,
So the gas tank will now be located in front of the shed, and the generator will be located out back to meet code.
to
Do we have to
fit-
put a cover on it?
No,
It has
it
its own.
comes with an insulated cover.
yeah, it'll look similar to the Legions, I believe. It's
Yeah,
all set
exactly.
up. Yeah, that white one that's out front. It has its own nice cover and everything, yeah. So,
I was just trying to,
yep, yeah, but the tank will move over here, which is no big deal. They can come get that relic that's sitting out there. I think that's like 3 designs old on the
Yeah,
tank label.
does that say Suburban?
No, it says Irving on it, but it's still like their old label from the 2000s, so. All right,
I'll do it.
go ahead.
I make a motion that we accept the A-Pro Electric invoice number 1 and K-Pro Generators invoice number 1094 for installation of a generator at the town offices.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Hey, wait, you didn't even put a cost in there.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. For a total cost of $10,911.80.
to come from,
No, it's the year-end budget.
yeah, to come in from
Budget encumbered.
last year, right? Yeah, last year's encumbered funds.
Funds to come from last year's encumbered funds. Thank you.
I think that's pretty
I can
close.
do that within 3 years, I'll be happy.
There you go, yeah. All set? Okay. Moved and seconded. I think I heard a second.
Who seconded it?
I did.
Yes, Sherry seconded.
Thought he was done.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
I'm gonna abstain. I know the involved parties. Okay, that brings us to, discussion of the maintenance ban. Sounds like quite a title.
Yeah, sounds like a song.
It does, it really does.
So I'll reach out to them tomorrow about the maintenance proposal, okay?
All right,
This was in pencil, so I have no idea.
yeah, I think we had discussed this because we knew that, as Selectman Kales alluded to, the fact that we have some things that we basically just need a handyman service for. An on-call type thing, not enough really for a full-time position, but, perfect example is the handrail out here at the handicap ramp. That the same handyman could be, the shovel. Again, we had a position that somebody that did that, shoveled all the walkways here, up at the town hall, the library, stone, all that.
We have trees growing over the side of the building. I
Yeah,
mean,
the-
we need things to be cut. We have a hole in the north face of the building that blows into the entire north cavity,
Yeah,
that has been.
I guess I agree 100%. I guess I want to acknowledge that I think it was always taken for granted, and I wanna acknowledge everybody over the last 30 years, DPW has always done this.
Oh, absolutely,
And they
right.
don't have the staff enough now to do it, I'm not saying I want
Exactly.
Jason up here doing it, but I think it was always done and no one ever gave credit to him for it.
No.
Everything done in this building everywhere else was, the exception shovel on the sidewalks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because it was always, even in my tenure, it was, you know, hey, we need to move a filing cabinet, we need to move this, and it was, hey, let's get a hold of Ben, a couple of guys come over, they do the heavy lifting, move stuff around. Or, like you said, I mean, the DPW did the window out here for the
Yeah, everything.
tax
else.
collector.
And they do have, you know, they still have people, just he's shorthanded enough, I wouldn't ask him right now, that's
Right.
not what I'm saying, but.
Yeah, so it's just time for a shift, but again, I do
I'm not
appreciate
so
everything
sure
they've
that it
done.
wouldn't roll, you know. I said for quite a while, if we could roll that into DPW as a position,
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna
he
ask.
could be used as something down at the highway, especially now where he's shorthanded, so. I
Yeah.
don't know what your guys' proposal was, I don't disagree,
have
we
one.
need stuff, it's just from trimming the apple tree to back dragging the lawn to building the handicap ramps.
yeah. No, and like you said, I mean, it's a different scenario when everybody's full-staffed, right? And a couple guys or crew members can be taken away and projects can be done like that. Unfortunately, we're not in that situation right now, you know, as it sits.
Maybe put it out to bid part-time handyman.
I mean, we might get contracted service, I don't know. I mean,
We might get-
I know there's a couple of out there.
Can we do it like we did the electrical and plumbing and?
We could, I don't see why we couldn't
We
in the
haven't put
past.
electrical plumbing back out this year.
Huh?
We have not put electrical and plumbing back out this year.
Right, which we probably need to.
We should,
at some
right?
point.
How does that work?
So what
Well,
we've done in the past is we've put out, solicited basically a on-call
Bid.
bid for
Hourly.
hourly rates from an electrician and from
Plumbing.
a plumbing and heating operation.
Each department head, I believe.
Was
with
supposed to
Naomi's
contact.
permission, but anyway, we're supposed to contact that person to do that
It's
type
like
of
a
work
preferred
first.
vendor kind of.
Yeah,
Correct,
yeah, right, yeah.
exactly.
If they couldn't do it or whatever, then we'd have to go get our 3 prices and hire somebody else. But
Right.
that person got first refusal of it.
Yeah, you know, if the lights over the safety complex, a toilet backs up, something like that, we had on-call people.
The
You know,
only thing with this,
With-
though, that
I
I
say
can see us
on-call,
having to take
adjusted
a
rate.
minute would be, probably defining the rules. Plumbing's plumbing and electrical's electrical, but.
Yeah, where's the line in the sand?
Yeah, and, yeah, I just don't want to turn into another 4-month long and this is his job and this isn't, but.
Right.
It might be worth, he mentioned, brush or something, which I would probably do that, but something that would fall outside of the expected handyman.
Well, like when you started talking DPW, it's not a bad thing to give Jason a guy that like, he's not gonna drive trucks.
I always thought it'd be good
Paint
to
the
have the
crosswalk,
one-ton guy who
loop
do that.
signs,
Yeah,
do
you-
the work you're talking about, and
Yeah.
then,
Yeah, we kinda got, I mean, we have a bridge. The guy that showed up tonight, I think, like Beth said, we don't have somebody right now that can change a light bulb for us.
Right,
I mean, it's down to that. They got a light bulb burned out, they don't know how to get it changed.
yeah, or who to contact, right?
Get a ladder?
Yeah, well,
Well, the fluorescent ones aren't that easy.
But I even think if,
When they're 16 feet long or 8 feet long.
right.
It's not their responsibility.
It's
We're
not their
paying them
responsibility,
to crunch numbers and take care of business. We can't saddle them with changing
should
light,
also
we
know-
can't saddle them with changing light bulbs and then get critical of them on their job performance per their job description. So we gotta, there's just,
well, but I am a little hung up on the snow shovel, and only because it'll be in the middle of the night emergency, if they're not part of the snowplow crew, they're the maintenance guy.
yeah,
But at the same time-
I'm looking at more of
A broader,
the rail that I see falling over, and
Oh,
I
I
see
know.
people using it, and that's a liability, and we gotta have somebody to call up, and if the guy we talked to tonight, he's at a higher, at $30 an hour rate, but you can't hire a carpenter for 50, so if he's out there and patches the thing up so that we don't have a lawsuit on our hands because it falls off and somebody's hurt, and if I can get a piece of plywood put over the hole in the north, and I can get this tree that's growing out of the side of the building
yeah.
cut off,
And I think it would be hard,
probably 3 hours worth of work.
I think it would be hard to, put I don't call it job description attached to that because it'd be so fluid. But, I think if we were, at this point, I'm not disagreeing with you to have somebody that could help fill in with the DPW, and kind of fulfill the role that we're speaking of. But to bridge the gap now, would it be prudent of us to go down and try and almost put like a RFP out for general handyman services for the town of Ware? And just leave it at that. Don't have a big blanket of this is what we want you to do, X, Y, Z, because it's gonna change. But,
But you're gonna have to say,
If there's
but
two-
not limited to, so that you
Right.
understand what you're looking at.
right, I mean, building maintenance, grounds maintenance.
I guess
cetera.
we hired it hourly like we did do the plumber and electrical.
Kinda what I'm thinking, yeah,
If he did say no and he wasn't gonna do it, at least we weren't paying him.
yeah. But
Or
it'd
if
be,
he was an employee and we forgot to put that in his job description or paying him to do something he told us.
what,
not.
that's what I'm saying, if we get him in as an independent contractor, for now,
But
you
like
know.
Kevin said, you can't hire somebody to paintbrush for $50 an hour, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
See
know.
what we got for money.
I just hired a big strappy young man that for $30 an hour. I could give him a list tomorrow, at least, and get half of it done.
I
In
think
this
some things
building.
like cutting the trees and stuff, DPW could be called.
Well, if you go out there, again, I'm sticking my head in this, trying to get this generator out of this box out there, and I got a tree in my eye.
I mean, they got chainsaw and chipper, they'd come do that. But I understand like the carpentry work.
Yeah,
And they
just
still
all
got
around.
guys down there, not discredit Ricky and the guys that are down there. Just, I'm sure he needs them in an excavator and stuff.
Yeah, needs him doing ditching or whatever he needs to do, but, so I guess, what's the board's consensus on that? Do you guys wanna put an RFP out like we had the plumber and the electrician at hourly
it's the
rates?
Yeah, just a
Simple,
general,
I think that's just a general services
general
handyman.
maintenance.
Yeah, general maintenance.
So that leads us to RFPs, and I'm all in favor of it, but we're seeing a poor response, and I was at fault even on the generators. I'm happy with the numbers because I did do my homework and I know how much these pieces of equipment cost, so I'm confident proposing this to you, or I wouldn't have. But we put the RFP out on the website and then we posted somewhere else. And I wrongly assumed, until asking the question, that a certain amount of reach out happened automatically. So, as you well know, these wonderful devices we all hold, if I Google generator installers and put in my zip code, I get 6 or 8 local generator installers. We have to start getting, if I put in local handyman services in this right now, I'm gonna get 6 or 8 people. not
Do we
handyman.
solicit them rather than them solicit us?
Yeah, we have to. In this market, we have to make that phone call and say, we have an RFP out for handyman services. What's your email? Let me forward it to you. We need a number
Yeah,
by
this is no
this.
guarantee,
Well, I
but
almost think we'll be a little successful. There's a lot of people that, you hear a lot of people trying to get into doing this because
Oh, yeah.
it's a side gig or they're getting
After hours
retired.
or Saturdays
I
or weekends
almost
or whatever.
have hope that we
Somebody
might,
retired.
I almost have hope that we might get somebody to do.
Well, if
this.
you know, again, if
Well, I
somebody,
agree, yeah,
if
let's-
somebody,
we should reach out, like,
if somebody has a suggestion, I mean, I understand that I worked in the private sector, but when we took on a bid, we had one person in our office that's all they did all day long, is solicit bids for our bid. I mean, not one tile guy, 50 tile guys, to make us the most competitive bidder. You know, but you're not going, nobody is looking at the Town of Ware website
no.
to find out that we're looking for a handyman.
No,
It's like-
I don't disagree with that method. We got by law, gotta put it out like we always do, but we can each call a couple people if we know
Yeah.
them.
Well, I think I think for us to get competitive numbers and actually get response on something like this, we have to do that.
And we're not making it so stringent that they gotta have every license there is.
No,
No, the only thing they're gonna have to walk in the door with is if they become an employee of ours, then they're gonna be covered by our insurance, i.e. this young man here. But if they're not an employee of ours,
we have
Then-
insurance
then we have
regulations already.
requirements, which will then, again, adds additional overhead, which is gonna make that hourly number
A little higher.
higher, and they've got to, so,
So what are we gonna pay this guy?
We don't know.
we don't know.
It goes out, it's RFP.
They're gonna give us
They tell
they're gonna
us.
give us their
They're gonna give us
fees.
their numbers, because it's a broad topic, I
If
think.
we don't like it, then we'll go back to punt.
Yeah,
I'd like to
I
try
agree.
this method. I think
Yeah, we have
I'm not
things we have
confident
to, we
that-
have things we have to
I'm not
fix.
confident, anyway.
Well, to
Well, the guy we hired, I don't know if they got the tools or nothing, he just seemed like he'd be willing to do whatever, but
It's-
I think if we try to get a handyman guy,
Yeah.
or gal,
It's probably not a long-term solution, but it's a stopgap.
yeah,
Right.
until DPW's full, or we find a build, I always thought it'd be awesome to have a building inspector that
Was
was of
full-time,
age
they
to
could
do
do
that
this, yeah.
stuff, but.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose sight of what Kevin was saying, because I think that's really valuable. I would, to decouple how the generator bid went out, I think it was a really solid bid. I think it was a very solid proposal, where we said this is exactly what we want, and we got exactly what we asked
Oh,
for.
yeah.
Sometimes we'll get, like, I get all the town emails, and it'll just say, I don't know, I'm gonna make something up. We want to pave a road, whatever it is, and that's all it says. And like,
Yeah.
if you're kind of on the fence, probably not gonna email something.
Right,
out.
seems a little too vague, right?
Yeah,
Not waste my
yeah.
time.
So I think that the generator bid sets a really good precedent to, this is what we should write, to this level of detail, I mean, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, taking on the responsibility of writing an RFP, it's similar to the bathroom renovations. It takes hours of work. You have to research products. You have to make sure that it's gonna fit within the number. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. I mean, I was very confident that this would get within that $15,000 we allocated last January, after doing the prep work. I didn't put it to the street if I didn't think we were gonna get it.
Right.
But I'm not sure, talking about the handyman, that it's gotta be,
But just RFPs in general.
no, I
I'm
understand.
talking the difference between a one-line need handyman versus, hey, we're hiring the town of Ware on the letterhead,
Yeah.
a few bullet points.
Kind of like the PD put up for the building inspector, right? There was some bullet points on there. That looked pretty good. So, something similar to that is what you mean, right?
Yeah, just,
But,
the
so.
more details the better without bogging it down before we send it out. There's obviously.
Yeah, so are we assigning this responsibility to the town administrator to write this one?
I like that you're asking the question.
Well, that's, what I mean, we're gonna leave the meeting and we're all gonna assume
Yep.
this is gonna get done, and I just wanna make sure who we think is gonna do it.
Yeah. Or do we have the town administrator delegate it to one of the administrative assistants?
My biggest, I wanna let you know, my biggest concern right now is the town clerk wrote us an email 4 months ago about that rail out front.
Now
Okay,
it's a
and
no.
I watched somebody a week ago while I was here, after inspecting the chimney work across the street, I came back over here, and someone was using that handicap ramp, and I shuddered, because I'm like, this is just an accident waiting to happen, and it's an elderly person that needs the ramp in the first place, and I got a railing that's held on by 2 nails.
Do we wanna take,
So we,
concentrate on this and take 5 or 10 minutes and make a quick list of
I
things
think we should.
tonight to give Naomi, and Naomi can word it, but at least we've put
As a
our
direction.
input on what kind of services,
I think that would be, yeah,
we might not make something else on here, but at least this'll be done.
right.
Instead of coming back in 3
Right.
weeks and there's 3
Yeah.
things not done.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I think it's fair enough. Steve made a good point when I proposed it to him. General carpentry skills,
Yep,
number 1.
yep,
Okay, they gotta be able to swing a hammer, but don't have to case windows, right?
right.
Must have,
General landscape upkeep.
well, we have a landscaper, right?
We have a guy that mows the lawn and does, but to Kevin's point, trimming these trees
Any
over here.
bushes out here,
and
little
the bushes,
trees.
I still
and-
think you just want to call Jason for that, okay, that's fine.
I'm just saying, but if Jason's not
Okay.
available, we don't want it not to be under the umbrella, right?
I don't think you should add anything on to what Jason's got over there to do, because
got
he
plenty to
doesn't
do.
even have
I
enough
think cutting a
people
little
to start
brush would
with.
be fine,
Yeah.
that's fine, I
Just
think
brush
if
and
you
stuff.
put, we'll see how it comes, I think if you group landscaping in with carpentry, you're gonna get something.
Access and ability to climb
Ladders.
step ladder.
Step ladders, to change lights.
To do lights, yeah.
Something, I mean, I'm trying to think,
Must have own tools.
Yep,
yep. General,
painting.
general handyman tools, yeah, painting, minor painting, touch-up.
Yeah, yeah.
general upkeep.
Maybe being able to shovel walkways,
Yep, that's good.
take care of that, and take that off the other
We could
guy.
combine that with the landscape. We could do general landscaping and
General outdoor
Snow
maintenance
removal?
Snow
services,
room, yeah.
snow removal,
or general outdoor maintenance.
or i.e.
upkeep.
shoveling.
Snow / shoveling / sanding.
Yeah. And again, it's not that this is in stone, this is gonna happen, but we definitely want to have the ability.
Yeah, well, so any day, if he's not only working a couple days a week or whatever we're gonna put him up to, any day that it's snowing out, that,
Right.
Come
I
in
mean,
a couple times during the
If the building's
day.
closed, then,
closed.
then it is what it is, we can afford time. If it's on a weekend, we can afford time, but if it's just gonna be one of them 2 to 4 inch ones, and it's just gonna nonstop all day, you don't want somebody, like you said, to throw salt and sand and et
I think you're
cetera.
just narrowing the pool down,
Okay,
but that's only one
general,
person.
general understanding of electrical and plumbing,
Just general, though, we don't want,
just general, so that, yeah, so that if if he knows that the toilet won't stop running, he knows how to get underneath it and turn the valve off,
right, yeah.
right? That's
Yeah, we're not looking to make the
use a
repair,
plunger.
or that, right, yeah,
But that's what I mean, it was just somebody that can say,
General.
you know, you need to call a licensed plumber.
Yeah.
This can't be
yeah.
fixed.
The chain broke to the handle, you know, and identify that, right, but, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be enough.
It's like
I think that's plenty, I think that's plenty, honestly.
No electrical at all.
It's like door lock, a separate thing, or does that fall under just,
What's that?
like fixing door latches and locks, does that just fall under
I
the?
think
I know
it's-
some people that do just that, that's the only reason I was
I think
asking.
that falls on the general
Yeah, I mean, it all
upkeep.
depends, you get into crash bars and things like that out there, then.
Yeah, and you don't
that's
want
sort of
them,
a specialty hardware kind of a person.
you don't want them into our electric
What was the
release
first thing you
locks
said,
either.
general, did you say carpeting, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's, all right,
Yeah.
that's good enough.
Yeah, you don't want,
I,
Basic
Turn
carpenter
electric
skills,
off, so
because that's
yeah,
all they're gonna
yeah.
have is
I
basic.
think that's good enough, I
yeah,
go along with, I personally disagree with landscape and snow removal.
I
For
d-
this job, I think you're narrowing the pool down, I don't like it, but we can try it.
Sure, you said nothing about electrical, but I want I want general electrical only because I want them to be able to go down and say, no, the breaker's tripped.
Yeah.
And so you
and
need-
that's it, just,
there's
we're
a
not
rea-
talking.
There's a reason
Yeah.
that there's breakers
Yeah.
tripped.
Yeah, we
can't-
don't want 'em taking a
We can't ask Beth
screwdriver.
to go down to the electric room because the breaker's tripped.
We wanna be able to go, hey, it's tripped, off, right, and be able, and say, it's this circuit, that's the only knowledge we want.
Well, you ought to be able
We
to
don't
flip
want-
the breaker back on.
Or flip it off for service, by,
But
But you
yeah.
need
by
to call
by
an
electrician.
if it repeats. you
Right,
know?
by an electrician,
Yeah,
right?
he's not gonna start
We're
pulling the
not
panel.
gonna ask them to
He's not
rewire
gonna
the
pull the
building.
panel apart. It's just.
Yeah, general.
General. The
General.
light switches, you need to have the switch replaced.
Yeah.
Call an electrician.
Yeah.
And we've just got the electrician and the plumber hourly rates, so now
Well, we
have to-
just add like, because we've had, what, Carol Johnson forever.
He's been the electrician,
I don't remember who was the last time?
Granite State Plumbing. and
Granite
Heating.
State,
And they just, again, they just agreed to an hourly rate,
right,
no maintenance agreement or anything like that. It was a,
yes, yeah.
you know, hey, we
Call
need
me
you,
up,
come
we
on
need-
up.
You know,
And,
we can,
you know,
I can't remember, I should, but we can probably make policy later, but does the department heads need to, like tell Naomi they're gonna call one of these people before they just call them?
I
as far
have
as,
no
what do you
idea.
mean?
Wow,
They always call the police department, the lights are out.
and that's what I mean,
Call
Oh.
Carol Johnson.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think it's gonna be up to the department heads to utilize,
Just don't wanna
They just need to
overutilize,
know
that's
who
all.
to go to.
yeah. But I think you'll find that there's enough, I mean, I can think of 2 right off the top of my head, I'm not gonna say them, that are in the remote area of town, and they'd probably jump at the chance to do this.
I can think of 3 or 4, it's just the snow removal landscaping's gonna
And
kill
they're
it.
basically gonna be on call.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
One that I'm thinking of, ain't no, I ain't no way he's gonna, because what is snow removal, you're gonna hire him and then go, oh, by the way, you gotta do this, the stone building, the library.
No,
And
no,
maybe they
no,
don't
no,
want it,
no,
that's
no,
fine.
no, no. Light shoveling, maybe that, get rid of landscaping, put light shoveling. If they're qualified enough, they can take out their saw and saw off. The sapling that I'm talking about that's poked me in the eye 3 times is only about this big. And I keep on saying, I'll just bring my electric chainsaw, my battery chainsaw down. I'll just keep doing that. And then I drive in and go, oh, shit, you forgot the battery. So it's
Happens,
happened 3
yeah.
times.
Yeah, so,
But
alright.
is the snow shoveling that we're talking about gonna be part of this?
I wrote light shoveling may be required.
If somebody's got to clean off the walkway because we got a dust and a snow,
Yeah,
and it's not fair to ask people that are coming in and working in an office all day to get out there and muck around in the snow. It's just not fair.
Right. It's
It's not the job.
not their job. They have enough to do
But
already.
It has been,
Huh?
it has been.
Yeah, but,
It shouldn't be.
Nobody get called and demanded to go outside.
yeah, I'll gladly help if you have any questions regarding that, so we can get that out the door.
I have general basic carpenter skills, unsure if you still want general landscape upkeep, and in parentheses, I wrote trim brushes and small trees. Then I wrote access
We
and
can take that
ability
out.
to,
We can take that out. I'd be okay with taking that out.
I have no opinion.
Okay.
take it
We
out.
can take it out because, like I said, that does kind of queue up a different category. And we already have, contact
Access
for
and
that.
ability to climb a step ladder, must have own tools, minor painting, minor painting, general upkeep. Are we taking out snow removal?
Light
You can ask them,
shoveling,
I
just put
guess.
light shoveling.
Light
But I
shoveling.
did have general snow removal, outdoor work.
Was that March 15th storm, my late snow removal?
No, that was not fun. No.
But somebody's gonna have to do it.
We
and I
were,
don't-
Ricky and I were doing it at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, we're,
After the
yeah,
election,
After the election, trying to get stuff back in the
ballots,
vault.
trying to get the
Yeah.
ballots in the vault.
it was
And that's
interesting.
the only reason that's the only
I was-
reason
I was-
Parking lot wasn't plowed either.
And I was
Ricky had
plowing,
to
I was
plow it,
plowing the parking lot, so
You
we had a
guys-
place, so Maureen could park up next to the
Yeah.
stairs.
And I was behind him.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh.
only reason I cringed when we asked Jason, cause in Deering I did that and all I had was the town office building, and when you're tired at the end of the night,
You
wanna
don't
go
wanna do
home,
that,
You
yeah.
wanna stop and do that for an hour.
Right,
And this town has a lot more shoveling to do.
right. No, but we
You gotta
gotta,
get to the flagpole, it's just.
yeah, we gotta assign it to somebody though. I mean, it is what it is. It's gotta go
Let's
somebody.
Take out the general snow removal and leave light shoveling may be required.
I would go with that. That way there, it's a little vaguer.
Something. And they
Yeah.
can say I
And
can't
the
do,
last one I had was general understanding of plumbing and general electrical.
Yeah,
I'd
just.
say general understanding of both, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, plumbing and electrical.
Like Ricky said, the chain's broken. You gotta call the plumber.
The water's running, shut the off, yeah.
Yeah, how to shut it off. Yeah, yeah.
It's more gonna be like that hand.
So
drilling
put
and-
together an RFP and bring it back for your approval.
Sure.
Sure.
And once it's out, we can contact the people we know and.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you know anybody.
Or we can have, a designee from Naomi contact them. Right?
Yeah, well, just, yeah, whatever. You call them, say, hey, they're putting up RFP if you want
Yep.
to get hold of Naomi.
Right, or designation.
They might say, no, I'm not.
All over to the Legion. They'll get the word out.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. We're
Manifest.
getting close to adjournment, so we better hurry.
Yeah, manifest. Order the treasurer to sign payroll accounts payables checks dated September 21st, 2023 is including the following manifest. A payroll manifest of $67,855.17 for weekly payroll, and accounts payable manifest of $47,107.09 for a total of $114,962.26. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, that goes to Naomi. All right. Where does the board want to go from here?
Well, on possible CIPs, we need to be thinking about that. I sent you guys a picture of the roofing on the carriage sheds behind the town hall a couple of weeks ago. It just happened to stumble onto that while at the library. I did do a estimate and gave it to town administrator if we want to propose it as part of CIP.
Who did the estimate?
I did it.
And how much?
Just rough.
How much was it?
$10,200.
That's low.
Yeah, I mean, it could be low, but.
It's way low, I already know, because I had a couple of roofing companies look at it. I've already had it looked at,
And what were you putting on there?
asphalt.
17 square?
I don't remember now, but it was up around 16,000 to do that. That's a big roof. We measured it all out. I ran a 100-foot
It's
tape on it.
17 squares.
I don't know, I ran it.
1,700 square feet, I measured it.
Yeah, I measured it too, but I just
Okay,
don't
so-
remember because I did it.
So just Google, but price of a square of shingles at 17 squares, and you can easily do what the thing is, the total weight of the shingles at 10 cents a pound there's $490 worth of disposal fee.
If you have a company come in, they're not gonna dispose it in where, they take that right now.
Yeah, I
dumpster.
understand.
Yeah, and they go in the dumpster, yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna bring it to
I
our
understand,
transfer
but
station.
I did do the breakdown, And so if you have other quotes, it'd be great. Bring them in.
Yeah.
But that roof needs to be fixed.
Well,
The-
that
the
one
back-
does?
The back boards are rotting because when they put it on, they didn't put any drip edge on, the last roofer. There's 0 drip edge, so the whole backside of the building is rotting away. I only carried $1,000 from miscellaneous wood repair on the
So-
back.
Probably need some boards on it, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but that's not the roofing project, though.
No.
That's,
Yeah,
that's,
it's
that's
separate.
more to a restoration
So
of the
I
building.
got a question going along with that, right? So that and the town hall, anything like that is to the Board of Selectmen if we wanted to do something.
Yep. False
For
goes.
years, I've heard about town hall, and then it comes and goes depending on the interest of the board members. Is there any projects sometimes, I know when Tom was here, he was real passionate about it, and it got to, we're almost doing a whole town hall, which that's too much money.
Right,
Are
but
we
little
wanna have
projects.
something looked at and try to peck away at that place, or
All the
before we
corner
have
boards.
to get the $1 million check out, or?
Yeah, I,
Well, the carriage sheds aren't really, again, in my opinion, personally, I wouldn't invest a nickel in them. It's an old building has little purpose. It's to put another roof on it. It's not storing anything currently in there. There's some old doors and some pieces of this or that. There's historical value, yeah, but, at the same time, I don't know in this day and age how many people actually stop and ponder about when the wagon's backed in there. So I would level it before I spend 10 grand on it personally, or 17,000 or whatever
Same
you
here.
say the number is.
But the other thing is that I'm not sure if it's included with the town hall, but if it is included in the town hall is on National Register. If it's on the National Register, we might be able to apply for a grant for that roof through LCHIP.
well,
Okay.
well, I think, when is
Or
that
the moose
process?
plate.
When is that process?
I think it has to be in by June unless something's changed. I can look into it for you,
So
but
are we gonna?
I just don't know if it's
No, I'm not-
connected. I'd have to call and ask them.
I'm not discrediting, I'm just asking, are we gonna let it sit for another complete year the way it is? I mean, there's nothing left of it.
Well, no.
The roof, there's nothing left. Are we gonna let it sit for another year, hoping we get a grant, or are we gonna try and put a warrant article forward? I don't know,
You
I'm
get the
asking.
grant you wouldn't get the grant before next year, next summer
So,
sometime.
does that roof have that much more time? I don't think it does. To look at it, I mean,
Well, it's not leaking
horrible.
inside, at least it wasn't 2 or 3 months ago.
Well,
That's all I can tell
it
you.
looks terrible.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
that same shingle was put on roughly within a year or two, the same shingle was put on the tramp house. That tramp house was done in 2005. I think I think it was 2 or 3 years before that they did the
Frank Farmer,
Frank Farmer and
Dick Colburn,
Colburn
and
and
David
stuff.
Hino.
And I think also Don Rogers was up there. Doesn't matter.
I really just, it was one I threw out there, I threw some numbers on it. It's, before, if it's one we want to consider, I'd be happy to firm them up. I'd be happy to get somebody out there to do it, but it's just, I ran some rough numbers, and it's gonna fall somewhere in that range. Sure, somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000 to put a roof on the thing.
Yeah, and that's fine, is that something that the board wants to move forward with?
Yeah, that's what my question
Well,
is.
that's the only reason I piggybacked off was to ask what, I didn't know where we stand at the town hall. Wasn't interested enough to pay attention to those conversations. I just know we never did much when Tom was really working
Right.
on it.
The big thing the town hall needs right now is it needs a new town hall sign.
That's falling apart, literally.
The windows are all gonna be redone.
And
That tough
and-
shape.
And all the paintwork from the spire down needs to be done, along with some replacement of rotten wood. The entire carriage shed needs to be painted. It's a disaster.
So should we,
Get
I
a
mean,
handyman.
I'm trying to look for, I don't know what else, but that's just something that I'm focused on because I'm in the library parking lot, and
I would think doing something, at least the sign and
I
a
would
bit of
love.
paint work up there would be, if we're gonna have a town hall, I mean, it's just,
The corner boards are really in tough shape.
I don't know what should be first, so. The carriage shed, town hall, it's all the same. I agree, if we're gonna
That-
ask for any money, that should be where we put it before we.
Well, I reluctantly will volunteer to take a deeper dive into those two buildings if that's what you want me to do.
I think it wouldn't hurt, because it would refresh the list. The last list we had, I think, was when I first got on the board in 2015. And that was when we had, I think Fillmore went over there and looked at it. And he made this, because we were soliciting bids, like Ben said, with Tom and that board. And I think at that time, I think the ticket came out to almost 70 or 80 grand to fix it. And we were like, whoa, no, we can't do that. We'll chisel away at pieces of it.
We never did, really.
We started to.
Well, we did,
We
'cause
did
I
the
had-
re- we did
I
the
had the bell
returns.
tower done.
We did the bell tower. We started chiseling away at it,
Yeah.
but we didn't do a whole
You
lot.
said it needs some paint work?
Oh, it needs a lot
No,
of
That
work.
hasn't been done that long ago, has it?
Yeah, what's his
Huey
name?
did the-
Dave Huey did the
Dave Huey
painting,
did the
but that's
painting.
been a while.
You don't have.
But
to
it-
Probably been 10, 12
But I think it
years.
was, but I think it was only the siding. I don't think,
Really scrape it.
I didn't
It
think it was
wasn't
the
the
corners
corners,
and,
and
right.
and it
the
wasn't
fascias.
underneath the fascias and stuff.
Right.
No.
The spire looks like it's in good shape.
Cause it was just redone.
It was just
in
redone,
the
the
last
bell
10
tower
years,
was
yeah.
redone,
Yeah, the bell tower was redone,
new roof on it.
new roof on it, yeah. But everything south of the roof is in bad
The
shape.
town hall sign would be a
Yeah,
great
that
senior project or a great Eagle Scout project. It
But
would
just
be-
gotta get it hung up there, that's all. It hung up and took down.
You got, yeah, it's a sheet, basically, it's, when I went up and put the letters back up last fall,
Yeah.
it,
Well, that's what I mean. You have to have a piece of equipment to take it down, that's all.
yeah, you gotta put a lift up for a day, $300.
I'm fine with this, Judge. I don't care, I don't.
Well, maybe you wanna wait and do that lift if somebody's
Well,
gonna
we
be.
don't even go there, we're not
Yeah.
even that,
We're not even at
yeah,
that
we're
point,
not at a point of
but do we,
worrying about the lift.
but to Ben's point, do we group the two monies together for the same purpose, right? Do we say
Okay.
20,000 and tackle some projects for the town hall?
So,
I don't know.
I'll take a deeper dive into it and I'll report to you in a week from now. How's that?
Or the next work session? How about the next work session?
Okay?
Next work session.
All right, so what does that, where does that leave us for CIP subcommittee? We're just gonna tell them we're thinking about something?
When,
Talking
yeah,
about
when
working
is
on
the
the-
deadline?
Well, they're meeting on Wednesday. and
Wednesday
that's when-
morning.
Then we're done.
And it's over?
Yeah.
We're gonna meet how many times though, Naomi?
Two.
Four?
Two.
Only twice? Oh, 'cause the original thing you sent out was 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, I won't have time. I won't have time to have that done. So,
I mean, I don't
I'm
mind.
retracting my offer. Sorry, guys.
That's all
I
right.
won't get that done this week.
Yep.
I mean, it's not to say you can't put an article we've done it before. I'm just saying that you ask all the department heads to go through the CIP process.
Right,
We should be part of our, when doing what we ask everybody else to do. That's all.
right,
That's why it's on there.
yep. Okay.
All right.
Like said, like Salem said, maybe some of it'll, not the roof, but some of the touch-up paint and stuff could fall under the handyman guy, maybe.
Yeah, a little at a time.
Maybe skip an RFP this year for it.
But I guess, are we gonna do anything with the roof? Because
I
that's
think-
obviously,
I think you better put 20,000 in there, 'cause when they start ripping stuff off, they may find boards that are rotted and stuff. I'd put 20,000 toward it, and if you don't use it, you can put it towards something else over there.
so
Not
is,
really, you gotta put in what you put it towards.
Right.
Unless you're gonna just put in a maintenance fund.
unless you're gonna put it in the building maintenance capital reserve fund,
Put it in there,
with the intention
to use
of
on the town hall,
carriage shed.
or carriage shed, rather, not town hall, it's
Right.
carriage shed.
Is that what the board wants to do?
I don't care, I'd like, I'm very careful about that. I kinda side with lots of stuff in this town ought to be fixed. This building's terrible, we're gonna put a roof on something that nobody uses, but
Right. No, I know. And I think, unfortunately, trying to be on the realist side, I think that's exactly what is gonna happen. I mean, it's gonna be a tight year to begin with. My feeling, at the ballot box.
we can try it. There wasn't ever any support for the town hall, which is even more of a statement. We can try it. I don't care. I don't have a great ambition one or the other about it.
Yeah.
I, finally, before I got done, was fortunate enough to work in a nice facility, but for years I worked in something that was, full of mold and everything else, and this building's outdated, and I watched them paint Clinton Grove twice, and the town hall twice, and I had water leaking on my desk at the highway garage, so it always
Yeah.
irked me a little bit.
So I guess is that something that the board wants to pursue to put that money in the capital
I'd rather
reserve
see 'em Put
fund?
it in this building.
So I'm ignorant about a lot of this.
Okay.
So I don't want to spend half an hour, I don't even want to spend 5 minutes on it. Can you give me like a 60-second? We're talking about just, these are things the Board of Selectmen think we would like to spend big money on. And so we want to go ask CIP and potentially put a warrant article out.
A warrant article, yes. A warrant article to add money to the capital reserve fund
In this particular case.
in this particular case, because we don't know exactly what it's gonna be, you know.
Yeah, I
Cost-wise.
feel like a lot of us are kind of on the fence, and if it's going to an individual warrant article, then sure.
And it would be, it would be going to that,
If-
yeah.
If the town thinks it's worth doing, then it's worth doing.
And that's kind of where my second, breath was gonna be was, I've stood at that podium many years ago and said, let the voters decide. If the voters wanna put the money into it, they'll put the money into it. If they don't, they don't. With that, no means no, and
Yeah.
if a
Yeah,
wall
well-
falls down, we can't touch it.
Yeah, that's
You
fair,
know.
but, we don't
Right.
seem to feel strongly, so maybe it's the perfect
Yeah.
use case.
Again, I'm just, putting that out there, that's all, and,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's not that if it came in at 17,000, it was 3,000, spare, left over in that fund, again, it's still gonna go into building maintenance,
Yeah.
it's not gonna go just willy-nilly, it's gonna still go to building maintenance stuff, so,
As long as it's worded that way.
What about
Right.
looking at, we're gonna club together a handicap ramp, which has huge implications when somebody
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
hurt. I mean, point
I-
well taken, why don't we take care of something that we need?
yeah.
What do we have in the, I always thought more money should be put in the general building maintenance fund for the town. What is in there, do you know? I mean, I'm not asking for exact
Was
report.
it
Do you know, is there any money in there?
60-ish, 50-ish?
I know we're
50-ish.
below 60, which
Yeah.
is what we wanted to keep.
60 has always been the number that this board has,
I don't-
has elected to keep in there, but it's not far below that, is it? 40-ish, high 40s? Oh, I
Well,
can't
can
remember.
we add like
I
another,
guess the question that Kevin brought up to
25,000
start
or
with, we need to decide if we wanna ask for money for the carriage shed roof or not. That seems like a specific project.
That's a specific project, yeah.
And then maybe ask for X amount to be put into building
building
maintenance
maintenance?
in case something happens.
So we
Well,
we
the-
need to fix that handicap rail.
Well, I
that
think-
whole thing.
I think that a blanket, let's put money in there for the unanticipated is too broad.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a deeper dive only into the roofing project, and I will get that information to Naomi no later than Wednesday noontime.
Okay. My,
With the intent that we'll talk about it next week.
I don't
Or
really
that
care.
just- or are we
No,
saying
we can
yes?
Talk about it, but I'll just get a firm number, so she has a firmer budget number that we could propose to the CIP committee at some point, once we all agree that that's a
They
fair.
could propose it, Salem, if we decided that,
Okay.
we don't like it, we still got time to just pull it off, say never mind.
yeah, because at the end of the day, we still have to approve the entire warrant, and there's plenty of time down the road. But to Naomi's point, I think that we do need to consider what we're doing out front here. The building's not going anywhere,
Well,
let's
we got
let's be real.
60 grand in the, that's why I didn't know what we had in the
Can we
building.
add 20 to it for unforeseen stuff to the
Well,
building
that's what my
maintenance
question
fund?
was, but like Ricky said, for unseen, it's hard to pass.
It doesn't take weight when you just say, just for a rainy day. That doesn't,
So if you-
in the past, that's never taken weight. But if you said 20,000, in rough numbers, 20,000 for the carriage roof and 15,000 to redo the front here to put an aluminum ramp, long-term solution, and two separate warrant articles with intentions, that's probably gonna, that's gonna fly better than, hey, we need a $20,000 rainy day fund. Because I don't wanna say we tried that, but we kinda did with the town hall. We said, hey, we got this whole smorgasbord of projects we'd like to do. Can we put the money in here and kinda pick and choose? And the answer was no.
Yeah.
So I think,
Back to your no means no, we're gonna have to fix a handicap ramp whether the voters wanna
That's
give us
gonna be
extra
done,
money or
that's,
not.
that's a liability for the town.
That's what I've always been careful about.
well, I think we can replace, I think if we were to replace, I think that, if we have to repair it, cause remember when we were doing the cruisers, it was always to replace,
Right.
and they got voted down, we still had to repair them. We just couldn't buy a new one.
Yeah, I understand, I think we're
Yeah.
gonna replace it
I think that
sooner
was-
than later.
Yeah.
And we could probably scrounge up money to do it if we couldn't get extra, but I don't want to back ourselves in the corner. I don't want to beat dead horse to death, it's almost 9, but if, like Naomi said, we probably ought to play by the same rules we asked department head, so do we want to put something on it or not, I guess.
Well, I think.
I like just putting general building maintenance, but I agree that it has never flown in the past.
It's never flown.
When I was in Deering, I was able to make it fly, I was lucky, they put money in there in case a rainy day happened, but
Yeah.
it hasn't flown in this town, so.
Again, I think you know, do we continue to patch together the ramp, or do we come up with a longer-term solution? I mean, you look at all the stair treads out,
I
walking
think it needs
upstairs.
to be
and
redone.
They're rounded right over, so,
But that is a major, you know, here's a problem. That's a major project out there to consider. I mean, again, we talked about this months ago. I did take a look at it. The aluminum idea is an okay idea, except the aluminum idea is not going to take any salt or sand. Okay?
well, I'm just saying that it's
It's-
something
I know,
comparable, yeah.
but, you know, the perfect solution out there is to get rid of the composite wood materials and put a concrete ramp in. That's the Cadillac, and that's the one we wouldn't have to worry about for the
Ever
rest of
again.
our lives. Whether or not this building is the most efficient and functional building, or we're gonna keep on investing in a building that was meant to be a school, not a town hall, or town offices, I don't know. But
I always
that's a
said that,
big
too.
project out there. I mean, to really get real numbers and decide what direction to go, that's gonna take 20 hours of somebody's time.
Okay, I understand,
Yeah, to have a real number. To walk around the carriage shed, measure up,
Yeah.
estimate the squares,
Couple hours.
Google what materials cost, what labor is, that's literally was about a 35-minute project.
Mm-hmm.
The longest it took was measuring the roof.
yeah, okay.
But I just want us not to have unreal expectations of what we're gonna have completed here in the next 3 or 4 weeks unless somebody really takes it on.
Yeah.
And it's gonna mean that somebody's gonna have to grab it and run with it. And I don't have the time right now.
No, understandable. It's understandable. All right, I guess
So
we
we're
just,
gonna put a proposal for carriage shed, or never mind nothing?
what we do?
We have to do the carriage shed, or we're just gonna continue to have more rot and damage.
And lose it,
Be-
yeah.
Walk around the back of it. I mean, you
Yeah.
can put your hand through the wood if you want out back.
Yeah.
The fascia.
Would you
Water's
mind-
running
Would you
down.
mind getting that number then?
Yeah,
What we
yeah,
said,
I'll
we'll
take the
continue on
I'll
that.
take the
Yeah.
deeper dive and I'll get the
Get
number
proposed
to
to
her.
CIP
To
and
make
then,
sure that
And honestly,
Sherry's concerns are,
let's try and exercise on our own to go over there and actually take a look at it in general, right? And see if it's something, because, you know, if you put a roof on it, next thing you know, it caves in, that was money at naught, right? I mean, if the backside of it's as bad
Well,
as Kevin says it is,
What was done, and I proposed a long time ago, was that building get jacked up and have some blocks put under it, because it's kind of
And-
low in the back.
it's here nor
Right,
there.
it's right in the dirt almost.
And that's unfortunately, no pun intended, water under the bridge, because right now, if the situation's very grim on the backside rot-wise, that ship has sailed, unfortunately. Not to say that it wasn't the right idea at the time.
it can be
but-
repaired. It's just, why I'm bringing this up is it's an hour never. They mowed the lawn last week and the lawn's covered with shingles because of the wind we had over the weekend.
They blew them all off, yeah, okay.
well, let's send that CIP and,
Well, Kevin's gonna get back to us on
yeah,
that, but-
yeah, but he's, well, he's
It's
gonna
gotta-
get Naomi, and Naomi's gonna go,
It's got to go to CIP Wednesday morning, right, Naomi? So we got to have a number
Just a-
Wednesday morning.
Just that we're working on it and that we have an estimated budget and we'll
put a
firm it up.
placeholder,
Right.
yeah.
Okay?
The article isn't gonna be written Wednesday, so we'll just give them a placeholder.
Exactly. Okay.
All right, before we get out of here, we need to hold a non-public
Okay.
under C. So,
Okay.
if you would consider that,
We do need to recognize Salem worked on the unsealing non-public minutes again in preparation for tonight's meeting. I don't know if everybody's gotten a chance to read them. They were emailed to us a couple days ago, I think.
Took a quick breeze over them, I didn't read them thoroughly, but
yeah, me
we
either.
can discuss it.
Maybe we better table them till next week.
What time
Can
you
we
send
go
that out?
through this?
It's Friday morning.
Oh, Friday morning. Oh, yeah,
I've
okay,
gone through them quickly,
Thursday
but
night and sat on them and
okay.
read them again Friday morning.
All right, so we wanna wait till next work session to approve?
I read through them, he's certainly the one that has put the effort and read into it.
Yeah, my question is, I reached out to Salem to find out, sometimes what we do is we reach out to other communities for things, you know, and I asked them that because this is so meticulously written and so specific, and it does cover all the bases, but it does refer to certain things that I personally have not taken the time to research, okay? So is this document going to need review by town council because we're creating a policy? That's, we're writing a policy, and it's a legal binding document. So my only question is to expedite this. I don't think any one of us is going to find a flaw in how this is written. I don't think anything's
I don't
jump
think
off
we
the
are either.
page
Yeah.
at any of us. It would be pretending if it did, I think, to be quite honest with you. So I'm ready to pass this to town council for a cursory review, and if it comes back clean, then I'm ready to vote yes, personally.
I'd be in favor of that.
Yeah, and I guess, yeah, like I say, so far, that only has my fingerprints on it, so I'm sure that I may be missing something. But yeah, if town council gives the thumbs up and everybody's good with that, then sure. My approach was just, what does the law say? What do I care about? I've been fired up about minutes since
Day one.
December of last year. And yeah, it's just how does this solve the problems that I care
Yeah,
about?
it's very systematic, it's very logical how it reads, so.
So that leads to the next question of what town council do we want to send it to? What attorney?
That's irrelevant to me at this point, I don't
Because
really.
we kind of discussed.
I just want a cursory review. We have discussed the fact that we are gonna RFP town council
Right.
come January.
Yeah.
And we're all in agreement with that. I don't know what we know that there's been a change in Laura's role at her firm. So if we can be assured that we were using that firm for these types of matters, this isn't an employee matter. But I just how fast she can turn this around.
Correct.
Can we get this turned around in 2 weeks, do you think?
She's back now, I don't see why we couldn't.
Yeah. Now, Mark mentioned to us that she's now,
Higher up in the company.
Yeah, she went, October, I think, Walter's leaving.
Okay, so she's.
yeah, so she's taken on that role. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just a matter of asking her, can you,
The other thing is, I guess I would like an answer too with regard to October 3rd. I've never sent that anywhere, because while we were working on this, I wasn't just gonna reach out to town council because of certain accusations that have always been made, so.
Right. Nope, that's part of the,
So
Yeah.
I would like to know is it 23 or 33 or whatever the answer is? We never got that answered, that whole House bill. The Senate bill that came through about unsealing minutes.
oh, yeah,
It was a different interpretation.
okay.
So I never reached out, because while we were doing this and
That was right in motion.
public comment, I've
Yeah.
not reached out without the board telling me to reach out.
Okay. All right,
so
so
obviously we'll need that clarification.
we'll need that clarification.
So I
Yeah,
can send it to whoever you'd like, I'll ask for both,
okay.
just tell me what you want to do.
Well, my only issue here is that this has been an ongoing thing.
Timeline.
As time-wise, is we have 2 weeks. Can we have turnaround in 2 weeks?
If you can, I'll move on. I guess.
Yeah, that's what I mean, but that's the question to ask her. How busy your workload? We want to cursory review this and want clarity on that House bill, and, because it would affect it. So, the board's looking for an answer no later than whatever that date is from today, our next work session.
That would be,
October 2nd?
yeah,
October 2nd?
October 2nd.
Are we still,
Yeah, October 2nd, excuse me, yes,
so you're still gonna just rotate every other?
for the work session. Yep.
You okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Everybody else is fine with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And again, and I think to Kevin's point, the House bill might have to make an addendum to that, an addition
That's why
or
we-
a subtraction. It may, I don't know, but that's where a legal counsel will come in.
I missed something there.
The unsealing of, with the House bill about, the
New
10-year.
part, yeah.
Yeah, if that changes anything in what
Sure.
we're trying to
Yeah,
policy,
yeah.
there may be
Yeah.
an addition and or subtraction.
Yeah,
That's one thing.
possibly.
Yeah, possibly,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, I've
And I would also,
quoted the section and
right.
it's my interpretation, but we'll
And-
find out.
And I would obviously want to hear that opinion from them.
All right, again, just because we do set a 2-hour limit to these meetings, and we're going to go beyond this tonight again, but I think the unsealing non-public minutes is going to be, fall into another topic that we're going to talk about later in non-public. The policy on contacting town council. I'm sorry, the right to know, not unsealing and sealing minutes. The right to know policy, I think we're going to talk more about that later. And the contacting town council, can we push that forward? Or do we want to address that tonight?
How do we want to address it?
I'm not prepared at all on
I'm
that
not prepared on
topic.
that one, personally.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where we left off.
Yeah, I'm not, I'd be perfectly honest with you, I'd be bluffing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we can
I'm happy to
table that
leave it
one.
off right now.
All right, so,
I did give you guys, I know just tonight, a draft of the Haverhill.
Cemetery sexton?
No, the request for public records was the Haverhill document with the two
yes,
things
that,
you wanted to
yeah.
add.
we revised, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a draft that I just threw on your table tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You can push that off to finalize if you want.
This is what,
Well, I mean, I definitely don't want to push this off too far because I think this is a tremendous improvement of what we had. And I think getting this approved and into an electronic format so people can access this quickly. And if it covers all the bases again, this is perfect because we have a rock solid document to avoid,
You wanna send it to review, and it's gonna be sponsored? Following the same suit you just did.
You might as well, yes.
I think it would be prudent
have you had a chance to look at this, Sal?
Well, I think when it,
when we were chatting about
This is
it.
the one we marked up last time.
I'm trying to remember what changes
We
we
took
asked
it-
for.
We took it from Haverhill,
Yep.
Yeah, that was the
Basically just
choice.
pasted it over.
and what I did is, I took it from Haverhill, but you added, the out-of-state, and then you also added the
Right,
last one, just above the box, that it says, if the fulfiller of the request, you wanna reach out to the board. Those were the only two things that I was asked to add to the town of Haverhill ones, which you guys all had a copy of.
yeah. And we all agreed that it was important that we did actually keep the attached
I
RSA.
mean, I'm happy to approve this, and then if you're working with it and it's not good enough, we can just do it again.
We can, if we see issues, we can go back
Yeah,
over.
but it's policy, so it'll have to get reviewed.
Sure.
Yeah,
So, good, it'd be good because we lump it onto the big review.
yeah, yeah.
Cursory
One-stop
review,
shop
once
review.
it's reviewed and gets a nod, then we vote it in.
Yeah,
That works.
So review in return for 10-2.
Yep.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are getting more done than I thought.
We only tabled one thing. That ain't bad.
Are we gonna put the opening for Sexton out?
Yeah, I threw that at you way too. I have not had a chance to find my words for the 3 quotes for mapping. But what I will share with you is, I don't wanna bog it down, but I did find a job description for a sexton
Oh,
for the town of Candia.
oh, okay.
Where I stole some of the ads.
Can you scan that and send it to us?
I can, which brings me
Vote in
to
town
another
then.
conversation that we have I was reached out to, and we have I'll pick my words here. We have a body in Concord
Mm-hmm.
that needs to have a home. And so someone needs to probe a lot.
Okay. You up for it?
Sure.
When are you guys doing that?
I don't know. We just have to post a meeting if there's gonna be 3 of us there.
If there's 3 going, you gotta post a meeting.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to give you the location and the map. I thought I brought it downstairs. I did. It's over in Johnson. It's a fairly big lot. I can't get, there appears to be 3 people already there.
Oh,
This is be a 4th.
okay.
The lot is 12 by 22. which
So it's a big lot.
It's a big lot. So I have the request,
Okay,
and I have the deed, and I have the map.
okay. I have no
And I
problem
just
with that.
need someone, I told him I'd let him know Wednesday
Mhm.
what our plan was.
Okay.
So a lot that size holds how many people?
I don't know how many people, and the deed doesn't say it. It just
Oh.
tells me it's 12 by 22.
22, that's probably 5.
Told me 264 square feet.
Oh, yeah,
It's all
4,
5.
say 4 feet per.
Yeah, so it's all 5.
There's,
5 vaults.
there's indication, conflicting indication, I guess, that one of them is a cremation, so there's
Okay.
probably plenty of space.
Okay.
I just need to, I could provide whoever's gonna go the map and the, I'll probably just give you the map is really all you need to know, because I need to keep the deed to give to the, and this is at the, actually, I gotta give you a better map, but can I just scan it? and send it?
Scan, send it.
Because I gave you the big lot so I could blow it up to see the number.
Yep.
But I'll give you the smaller lot to show you where it is on the map,
In the general,
in the general area.
it's fine.
And you guys,
That's where we went, right?
Yeah.
John, okay.
and you guys will just do that, and do you need me to leave flags, or, because I'm not here tomorrow?
I've got flags in my house.
Okay.
Yep.
So you guys will do it and let me know
Yep.
Wednesday when I can tell them, so we can schedule it?
Yep.
Just somebody let me know?
Yep.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
No, it's fine. Well, we got it. It's business we gotta conduct.
Are we doing anything this, or?
I
thi-
move, no, I don't wanna deal with this tonight, personally.
All right.
I think
No,
we're
I don't
running,
either.
we're running out of steam
So
here.
I'll send you what I have, kind of for the one I found in Candia.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Scan, send.
I didn't realize there was a job description.
All right, it's good if we can take points away from it, pointers away from it, I should
We
say.
won't- Yeah, and we're coming into winter,
Yeah,
so this is
Only
gonna end
4
up,
months?
yeah, this is, yeah. And I volunteer to do at least 2 more before winter. Get that in the minutes, could you please?
okay.
Okay, so I make a motion, we adjourn, go into non-public.
I was gonna say, yeah, we'll adjourn the meeting after we go in non-public.
Okay,
Under, ooh, this one's gonna be
good night, Tom.
A and C.
Okay, we're gonna request that you leave,
Yeah. I'll
and we'll take
notes.
notes.
Yeah,
We'll take some notes.
yeah. So, I'm gonna move, we go in non, yeah, you moved it, I seconded it. Roll call vote to go in, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Hang on.
Yep. And you'll get the times, at least?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Roll call.
All in favor, yes?
Yes.
All 5 were yes.
All right, so, let me just